Good evening. Thank you for coming. This is a meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. My name is Bob Bouchard, I'm chairman, and I would like for the other members to identify themselves, starting at this end.
Joshua Faraday,
John LeBlanc,
Mark Knox,
Joseph Chamberlain.
Nancy Yates, and we'll be being recorded by Lake Cam this evening. And is anyone else recording? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, first on the agenda, we have, once again, 310 Kenneth Welch Drive. This is a notice of intent for increased parking and wetland replication. It was continued at our last meeting, and I don't see anyone here from, nor did I hear from them, so I'm gonna assume they want to just continue.
We did a site visit,
they didn't reach out, but there was communication at least on site.
There was, yes.
and we've done a site visit
But you
since our
want to
last
summarize
meeting. What, muddy?
the,
And
besides
I think
that?
that they are moving the wetland line.
Mhm.
We left at a certain point, it was just incredibly, like I say, after Lori went in over her boots, and it was just really bad, so we're paying a peer reviewer to do it, so we just left them on their own, but I think they were agreeing that the wetland line needed to be moved.
And they didn't think they would have anything, ready for tonight anyway, but, perhaps by our next meeting.
So
It's kinda-
make a
The
motion
14th.
to continue until November 14th at 7 PM?
Yes, please.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Move along. 9 Cross Street. This is another notice of intent for a single-family dwelling with associated materials, and it also was continued. And I don't see anyone from, did anyone talk to Jamie or anyone from?
Well, that was supposed to go out for a peer review.
Right, but I thought someone might have been here to give us an update.
Okay.
We are,
Did everything go out to
yeah, we sent.
EP? Or did they agree to the peer review?
They haven't disagreed, put it that way. I haven't heard from them. That's why I was hoping that they would be here. But, we're still working on getting a scope of work from Environmental Partners. They sent us one. We noticed some deficiencies as far as, fixing some of the flags. And so, they're revising the scope of work, and we should be hearing from them in a couple of days.
So, motion to continue
Okay.
to, November 14th
14th.
at 7 PM.
And this is for 9 Cross Street?
This is
9 Cross.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, number 4, 19 Twin Oaks Road. This is a request for determination of applicability, to replace an existing well. Would you like to
Correct. I'm
excuse yourself?
excusing myself.
And you can go sit in the audience, right?
Want me to sit at the microphone?
Yes, please.
Not like you don't have trouble hearing you.
What's that you say?
Yes, people hearing me.
My point exactly.
Well, I was here at the last meeting, and this was the direction you sent me, and this is the direction I went. I need a replacement well. Ed has already issued the well permit. And I'm praying that they come the first week in November.
First week for the drilling?
I hope. He said early November, so we don't
Not
have the
soon enough.
exact,
You're lucky to get a driller, right?
well,
I know these days,
yes.
actually it was worse before, but. All right, questions, anyone?
This is basically an emergency certification, right?
It's analogous to it, yes,
Yeah.
it's just under a different name, but
Right, right.
everything else is the same.
I'll make a motion to issue a negative 2 determination.
We have a
Second it.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Thank you very much.
you don't usually see them that easy. You need to get caught up with anything, Nancy? You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. Next, 28 Cross Street. This is discussion on the possibility of issuing a permit for a horse paddock. Let me guess, that's all of you are here for. How do you do? My name's Bob. Same here, we've talked on the phone a number of times. Okay, who else do we have?
Chris, I also live there.
Okay,
This is Megan's mom.
all right, fair enough.
Everyone clean off their boots before they came here?
Whoa, that was low.
This is Marissa.
How do you do?
This is like her wetland scientist.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you all. Would you like to begin by giving us a summary of what it is you, why you're here and what you're intending to do?
And if we could
Up to the mic?
Yes.
come up and just identify yourself at the mic, just for the record keeping, so it's easier for people to keep minutes.
Sit up here. for
Yes,
this time.
please.
I'm Megan Young. We're here because we're trying to put in a horse paddock to an existing barn on the property we bought that was once upon a time a farm. They appeared to have cattle and horses in this area before, and we're looking to put in the paddock. When we applied for the stable permit, there was DEP wetlands we found over in the area, so we got connected with Bob.
And, so you had a survey done.
Yep,
I forget who the surveyor is. Silva?
Silva.
Okay.
Yep.
And you had a botanist who identified herself. Maybe you could fill us in on some,
Definitely, yeah. Can I submit for the record, just a figure basically with the buffers on? Basically,
thank you.
Right, so we went out there about a month or so ago now, did a delineation. We identified one BVW, which I think on the figure that was submitted is wetland 2. The other wetland, which is closer to the proximity of the fence, wetland 1, we determined is non-jurisdictional. We looked at it, there's no sort of connecting stream, and it doesn't meet the definition for ILSF just because it's about 8,000 square feet, and it looks to be man-made. So we don't feel like that is a jurisdictional wetland.
Thank you.
That's why we were using to look for a minor activity use of the buffer zone for that fence, the establishment of the paddock.
Anything else? Is that,
No, those are the only two resources we
Oh.
found,
okay,
so based on that.
all right. Did you get a chance to see the list I gave you? We had talked about it?
If we did the notice of intent, what would be needed?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the email that
All
you
right,
sent.
because I didn't hear from you, and I just want to make sure you'd seen it.
Yep.
All right, so, anyone else want to speak on behalf?
You said you applied to National Heritage?
We are in that process. yeah.
Okay.
Bob, have you been out to the site?
No, I haven't. To be honest, I've driven by, but, there was no one there, and I didn't want to,
Would you be amenable to Bob coming out and just taking a look at the location? It's really that wetland where you wanna put the paddock around?
We could schedule something.
we actually talked about that, about doing a site visit.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that it's necessary, but if that's what we need to do.
What's your reasoning there?
You requested that we get a botanist and a surveyor, and we did all of that.
No, well,
It's-
actually, that was done beforehand. Nancy?
I'm just questioning the size of it. It can't just end at the property line.
Correct. We didn't have access to that property.
So we don't have any idea how large this actually is?
So from the NWI, it's about 6,000 square feet, plus the additional, what I delineated was an additional 2,000. I mean, to be conservative, we could call it ILSF if you wanted to be conservative, but regardless, that doesn't have a buffer zone. And the intent is to not impact the ILSF.
I didn't notice if that was on here or not, but a lot of times with a notice of intent, the intent is also it has to notify the property owner of the work that you're doing in such close proximity.
For the stable permit, we have to notify what we're hoping to do for all of the abutters as well.
So the lot size next door is 1.61 acres, 1.65 acres on the other side, and yours,
Is 10.67,
10 acres?
Yep. 10.67.
Okay.
What's the scale on this?
It doesn't have one.
I
think
had
that
to
was
zoom
one-
in because of, to be able to see everything, but if you look at the paddock, it's 200 feet long by 120, so the 200 feet can give you kind of an easy scale
Two
there.
hundred feet long by
120.
120. See, that manure pile's gonna be just past the 100 feet from the well over here, right?
Yeah, I believe it's 110 from the well,
Okay.
and it's 50 feet requirement from the Board of Health. And then the manure pile is 156 feet from one wetland and 160 from the other.
And it's just on the ground, there's no restraining walls, low walls, or anything like that?
No, just on the ground.
And from time to time, it's trucked off site, or what do you do with it?
Yep, we can spread it, we can truck it off.
You can,
So you're saying the manure pile
It's
Is it
outside of the buffer zone, right?
Yes,
is
Beyond
outside of
that,
the
and
buffer
just
zone.
one, 150 feet, is that what you said?
156 feet from the wetland.
It just almost looks the same, this 110 and the 156, but it's hard to tell without.
On this plan that you provided, how much, it's hard to tell, how much distance would you say you have from the proposed fence location to the wetland flags?
We're doing 10 feet for a buffer zone. With the erosion control 1 foot from the fence.
So I think we'd all feel a lot more comfortable if put the erosion control right at the wetland flags,
Okay,
build a berm. And this is me just talking right now, the board's gotta agree to this, but if you built a small soil berm
okay,
and vegetated it, planted it with something that could then have roots to keep, because we look at this as, it's a fine use, but, you know,
Yeah,
you've
no,
gone by, and you probably way more experienced than me with anything equestrian, but them being in that paddock is gonna beat up the ground, it's gonna be degraded soil that's gonna wanna run off.
okay,
So we wanna see the wetland just protected.
that's
I know
fine.
it's probably not the most valuable wetland in the world, but it's what we're here for.
Yep.
Is if you could provide a berm within there that the siltation barrier would protect until it vegetated,
Mhm.
I think that, you know, that would be a good solution. Do you agree, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, we've had some experience with corrals before, and that was one of the downsides that occurred. Runoff from the site, and detecting or trying to identify contaminants that were in the water table and surrounding it became a real problem, very high concentrations.
Yeah.
So that's something we want to avoid as much as possible.
how many
I'm-
horses we talking about?
I'm asking for 6.
Ooh, that's quick. Now you're up to a herd.
Downed it from 8.
Whoa.
Honestly, that's just, one and done of never doing this process again. I don't intend to have 6 horses, but just God forbid. My plan is to have 3 or 4.
You're smart to go and ask for it.
I would like the 3 or 4 as well.
The nice part is totally open to the berm idea, but the nice part is it does slope the other way.
yeah.
So it should naturally not do that as well, but happy to put in extra precautions.
Your proposed erosion control barrier, what are the details on that? Silt sock or hay bales, or what do you?
Probably be a silt sock.
Yeah.
To remain?
I think until the area
It's
around
really
the fence is
stabilized.
stabilized, yeah.
Anyone else? You mentioned in your write-up, in one of your emails, that there was a 10-foot separation, according to DEP in the buffer. Where does that come from? Where do you get 10 feet.
That's what I just asked about, so it would be from the wetland flags to the fence, this distance here,
Thank you, Mark.
from there to there.
All right.
But I
And
think,
that's continuous all the way around,
Mhm.
10 feet, is that the natural buffer they're
That's-
given.
All right.
but aren't you asking about a DEP regulation? No?
No,
Okay.
no, that's what I was asking.
Okay.
Let's see my list here. Do you envision having any access roads to the corral area, or any trails that you'd be following?
What do you mean, like making more trails or
Or any trail? I don't know if you own just this property or adjacent property where you would,
just this property?
just this, okay.
Is there a road from the existing dwelling out to the barn now?
It's just like open, but
Okay.
Is behind this proposed corral treed, wooded, or is that?
it's got some trees,
Yeah.
yeah.
Spotty.
I don't need to take down trees.
No, I'm
There's plenty
I'm
enough
just
room
asking,
for
it's all
them.
pretty well vegetated too, so
Yeah.
whatever runs the other way toward the other wetland, it's going through the forest
Yeah,
There's a
anyhow,
filter,
so it's
yeah.
not an issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And a question, and this comes from, excuse me, but it's my English teacher, Jean's. First line in the third paragraph. The fence cannot not,
Sorry, the ADHD got the best of me.
that, I said, no, they can't, I didn't go online to check, but I know 310 CMR doesn't
It's a
say
double
cannot not,
negative.
yeah.
I
Double,
know.
classic double negative, just wanted to check,
I'm
check.
sorry.
These regs do come from politicians, so you never know what they're gonna say, okay? Just wanted to check. Cause it's saying the reverse of what you wanted to say.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
understand what you
The
want to
intent.
say. The intent, right, okay, just checking.
Too excited, that's all.
I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
Well, the issue now is, I guess, unless anyone else has questions, it's your position that, no permitting is necessary because of, what you said about it being a resource and all. It's my opinion that if you were to do a notice of intent, it would probably not be, accepted, just because of some of these, issues here, would prohibit such a thing.
Well, I think what they're doing is relatively minor compared to what we would normally ask for an NOI.
Or right, or for an RDA, for that.
More
for that
reasonable,
matter.
I think, for an RDA.
Usually, we don't ask a lot in the way of, submittals for an RDA. This is more than usual, and that's why I'm bringing it to bear here. Are you saying that if we were to require an RDA, you wouldn't comply? Is that, did I
I'm not
misunderstand?
saying that, no.
Okay,
I'm just hoping that we can do neither because it's such a small activity.
I know that's,
And this
That's
isn't a business and, you know, to be honest, this is costing me a small fortune.
oh, agreed.
And I'm young and we're trying to, you know,
Well, but-
farm and bring this,
Correct me
Thing
if I'm
back,
wrong,
like-
but if we did an IDA, this is more than enough information.
Oh, yeah, that's, right.
You've already done it,
okay.
so it's just filling out an application essentially, right?
Right.
Mr. Chair, through
Yes.
you, I'm just thinking that you have 10 acres and if it was a notice of intent, and I'd like to hear what Josh has to say about this too, but if it wasn't notice of intent, they would probably ask for an alternatives analysis because you have 10 acres of land.
It's
That's
not
what
with-
DEP
You're
does.
not wrong.
I'm not wrong, I know.
But it's also not within the riverfront, so the requirement of alternatives analysis, I think it might be a little bit of a stretch. I mean, we don't have anything for buffer zone regs anyway.
And if they're using an existing barn, I understand the alternative would be move it somewhere, but
Right.
moving the barn would be a hardship.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't move the barn, they'd make a,
Is the,
like a
Is-
pathway to get the horses.
is your
to the
property
canal.
wooded right now? You have to
The
clear,
entire paddock area, proposed paddock, is that
It's
wooded?
got trees, but like there's room for the horses to move around.
So you intend to put the fence around the trees?
Yeah, yeah, I don't intend to take down trees.
So there'll be trees within the paddock.
Yes,
Good move.
It's even better,
keep the shade, keep the ground steady,
right?
minimal impact.
Oh, she's gotta have something to
Yeah, I gotta,
rub
you
your
know.
back on.
So, looking at this is the little one and this is the
That's
bigger
big
one.
Yep.
This is this. And this.
Yeah. Did you have any test pits of any kind there?
Yeah,
What'd you get for soils?
I'll tell you.
I'm just, what are all the green lines?
Woods,
Those are,
That's not natural heritage?
The area is natural heritage.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
applied with natural heritage.
So in that, the larger of the wetland there, I got a 10YR 2-1, about 8 inches with some organics, and then from 8 to 18, I got a 5-1, 10YR 5-1 with modeling at a 10YR 5-8,
modeling it where?
at 8 inches.
Wow.
And it depleted matrix is what.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So that's, natural, what did they say?
We reached out to them to require, we haven't heard back from them yet. So we're in the process of doing coordination. I think we will end up filing a permit probably with them on their getting back to us, but we're waiting on their response.
I think we should wait and see what they say.
You guys just bought the property recently?
Like a year and a half ago, roughly.
Have you had any conversations with your neighbors about this plan?
Yeah, we've talked to all of them.
So my opinion is filing an RDA for this work. It's something that the commission has seen for projects of this scope before. I mean, I don't think it's a bad project by any means. My fear is, or my
Concern?
not even concern. My suggestion to you guys is to file the RDA, and that way you have us as a commission making a determination on the project. That way, if one of your neighbors did decide, hey, we're not totally on board with this, they bring something to Mass DEP saying, hey, we want you to look into this.
and
At
nothing
least
was
you have
filed.
something from us saying that,
It's already been done.
Yeah, you
And-
got approval.
right.
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as the fear of how much it costs, what's our RDA fee?
75?
So 75 for the RDA, probably another 75 to post it in the newspaper, and I don't know, maybe another 30 or 40 bucks to notify your abutters by certified mail.
We have to do that anyways for the stable permit.
For, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so,
You could probably do that in one mailing, stable permit and RDA,
It's great
if
protection for
it
you.
lines up. I'm thinking that way, if someone goes to Mass DEP and says, hey, there's a concern of them altering the wetland over there, at least you can say, we sat in front of the commission, they issued us a determination, they had no problem with it.
Can we do that without the RDA or no?
That is an RDA that he's
I mean, the RDA is the commission's ability to say that you don't need to file a notice of intent.
the notice of intent is the more expensive
Right.
process that's recognized by the state. By just coming to us for an RDA, it's far less expensive.
Okay.
And like Josh is saying, then you have something to hang your hat on that says you came here and you got permission.
And so do we. When
Right.
DEP say, oh my, how did you let that happen, is that we can also put that one condition that you said,
Right.
otherwise we have no way to enforce the berm that Mark's talking
Right.
about. But if we have an RDA, you can do a -3 with a condition that you do the berm, so then we don't look
Yeah.
like, we're like,
I think for
Yeah.
I think for around $200 it covers you guys in the sense that you have something in front of us. We've made a determination. I think the only condition we would have was the talking of the erosion control around that one fenced area,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you guys are already amenable to that anyway. So
And
I think
that gives you time to get the answer back from National Heritage. too.
Mhm.
Right, we can still do the site visit as
Yeah.
well.
I think roughly $200 is a small price to pay for the assurities that you'll get from it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think at this point, a recommendation would be hear back from Natural Heritage, bring that in to fill out an application for the RDA, and you'll be off and running.
Yeah, you already have pretty much everything you need, yeah.
And the more, the scope of work that you, include in the RDA, the better. So it's very specific as to what it is we talked about and what you're gonna do. Since we don't wanna, after the fact, have to give you a whole list of things that we're looking for. It's not the purpose of an RDA.
Yeah, and this is sort of like you asking for 6 horses. Permission now is the same thing we're kind of helping you to do, is ask for everything you wanna do in this document, so that that's your protection down the road, and that we saw it and we agreed to it.
When's the last time the land has been used?
I don't know. I know that there were stable permits before, I believe, in like the 80s. I
Oh,
found a
okay.
horseshoe in this specific area. There were cow
An
stanchions.
artifact, stanchions?
Cow stanchions in the
Cow-
barn.
Yeah, okay.
So, and we found like cool cream cheese stuff and milking stuff and yeah, so we're just trying to bring the farm back to
Do you
life.
have any memory of who was there? I don't.
On my 1800s map, it was the de Moranvilles. After that, I'm not
Oh.
sure.
Not
They
surprised.
own
yeah.
it.
Not surprised, people, yeah.
I did find a really cool old portrait, like ancient. So found some cool stuff and threw out a lot of trash.
American pickers will be coming to see you.
Oh, we've already done so much cleaning.
So if that's acceptable, do you think you can have, we put them on the November 14th meeting?
Well, I think wait and see, just
Wait.
because we don't know how long.
We've
Natural
got plenty of
Heritage
time between now and the 14th.
When
But
did
we
you-
might as well put them on the,
When did you send it into Natural Heritage?
Well,
We reached out to them to like try to coordinate with them to see if we would be required, about a week ago.
Oh, they'll require it.
I was trying, all right? Just saying.
They get a good fee for it, too.
That's exactly why I was trying to get around it.
We've approved RDAs in the past, conditional.
Right.
Right.
Contingent on
receiving.
it.
I think, come back, fill out an RDA application, and if you do it pre-Natural Heritage response, we'll put that as a condition on the RDA as well as that berm, and that's it.
Get it done ASAP.
What is your submission deadline for that meeting?
Usually a week, not more.
Oh,
By the 7th?
okay.
are you sure? Because we have to advertise it in the
advertising.
paper.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that has to be at least, 72 hours before the meeting anyway. It's probably 2 weeks before the submission deadline is.
That's now.
Which would be next, which would be Halloween.
Yeah, right, because you would have an extra.
So we have
week.
3 weeks because we're 2nd and 4th
Yeah.
Tuesdays of the month,
Okay.
and it just so happens there's still a week, and then we're
Yeah,
at that perfect on the 14th of November because the month starts on the Wednesday.
Okay.
You're right.
So we're 3
Yeah.
weeks to our next meeting.
Yeah. And then
And so if you get something by next Tuesday to the office, that should be fine as long as your mailings are done.
okay.
when is your stable permit going to be issued? What's the timeline on that?
They're just waiting for us to approve this.
Oh, okay, so you're waiting on us.
Mhm.
Okay,
They said everything looks fine.
okay.
It would have to be that, because we're probably not gonna have a meeting Thanksgiving week. We usually don't, so the 14th would be,
Hit for November.
The week after would be the 28th would be our next meeting.
So
Oh,
far, we
wait a
haven't had
minute.
any.
I'm looking at the wrong.
Wrong year?
Yes,
So,
okay.
do we do the berm and then the RDA? Or the-
No. You
And then
do the
Yeah.
RDA, and then the berm will be part of your construction of the
Okay.
fence and the siltation barrier and all that.
Okay.
So you'll wait till your approval to do all that work.
Okay.
You don't have horses in the garage right now or anything, right?
Paying
We
to
don't
keep
have a
them
garage.
elsewhere.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then I guess I'm just thinking for your newspaper listing, do you write it or do you need us to write and then you just, what is the coordination for the?
Usually we like the applicant to write up the,
Okay, it's different with every board, so I just
Yeah.
wanted to check.
the wording isn't specific as long as you have
Yeah.
the major elements.
Yep.
Is it just the Lakeville newspaper?
Which paper?
Middleborough.
The,
Middleborough Gazette?
Middleborough Gazette, yeah.
Well, no, it's not, it's
it's
now
the-
the Nemasket
the
Week.
Mas- Oh, yeah.
Nemasket Week.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're welcome. Good luck.
So, do we have a motion to continue this to,
Well,
It's
not-
not an
no,
official
it's not.
hearing,
okay,
File.
all right, okay.
so
all the motions will be done hopefully in 3 weeks.
we can just say, does everyone agree on the approach we're taking? Or is that-
Yeah, I guess we don't want them to come back and us bring up new stuff.
Yeah.
I think,
No,
I think everything we've discussed tonight is appropriate.
yeah, well, that's why I prepared the list, so that you'd have some advance notice and give us a chance to think about it. But I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, the paperwork always does seem to be a drag, but it affords you a high level of protection. Because we deal from time to time with neighbors of farm animals.
You know.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's always gonna be your neighbor that has a complaint too. I see it all the time, so. If they're already on board for it, you guys are moving in the right direction,
Makes a big difference.
right?
And Josh is the agent in a neighboring town, so he gets the complaints, he knows.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming in.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Find any
Nice one.
typos in the minutes, Joe?
There were
Thank
some
you, same here.
minor rewording required, so I'm going to make a motion that we, accept the minutes of the July 11th, 2023 meeting minutes as corrected.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank. You didn't have anything else to discuss?
Nothing on the
Conservation.
bylaw?
We had bylaw
Nothing
on
on
there,
the
but we
bylaw.
also talked about.
No, I thought we talked about
Pushing
pushing
that
that
off
Give it a
little
rest.
bit.
Yeah, maybe until, our next town meeting gets closer.
I would recommend because of posting times for like the warrant and holding
Mhm.
public hearings and things like that. We probably want to be ready in January.
When is the town meeting?
April?
It hasn't been scheduled yet, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
but-
if they schedule an early one for like, say, April,
Yeah,
the warrant will probably open in February
right,
and
right.
close in March.
Yep.
And I don't know that.
No,
We're gonna
it-
have a different.
It's the
we're
same
gonna
thing in
have a
Wareham.
5-member select board, so it could be May or June, which would probably give us until April. But
Yep.
depending on how much discussion and back and forth we have, you don't wanna probably wait until April to start the conversation.
No, so we're looking to revise our bylaw in Wareham. We have an April town meeting. We're hoping to get all our revisions done by the end of February.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe we, bring this up at the beginning of the new year, maybe mid-January.
Yeah.
We're not really proposing a lot of regulations. It's, just to almost reiterate the Wetlands Protection Act on a local level.
Well, you
So-
already
That's
have
a
your own
start.
bylaws there in Wareham.
We do. We're looking to revise it. We're
And-
looking to revise the bylaw and potentially add more jurisdictional area. 150-foot buffer. There's been talks of a 500-foot buffer on slopes greater than 8% or something like that.
That's a
Well,
town
steep
vote.
slope.
Oh, yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you guys get a lot of cooperation when you do? the past?
I don't foresee it. I mean, no, our bylaw, we have a 30-foot no activity zone, 50-foot no activity zone for commercial buildings. We have strong coastal and inland dock regulations. All of our new septic systems are required to be 150 feet away from a resource area, so yeah, we've had good cooperation from the town. I I think we might be pushing what we want in our
You're
next
spending
rewrite,
big-
but
Spend big money in the future for, addition to your, the waste system, the whole,
yeah, last night we approved a $36 million,
Yeah,
it's like a revamp of this sewage disposal, system, but, it doesn't really buy us anything. It just keeps us from getting fined from the state because
Right.
we're almost
Oh, the deed.
in
Right.
failure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know about but on the Cape, with the setbacks for the septic system and stuff on the Cape, the maximum for the nitrates is 5, where here it's 10.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
it, is Wareham?
we haven't been decided yet. We're,
Okay.
yeah, we're in the lull right now, but.
A lot of that's because of the sand, isn't it? So it travels so easily,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all sand, so.
just like all the pollution plumes on the Cape, just.
oh, so they
So they're
travel.
looking at
Bob can tell you about
all
that.
the nitrogen reducing systems, the reduction systems,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how either you get on town sewer or you upgrade your system, and yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, if you're on town sewer, you're basically abandoning your system, right?
Yeah. It's either you tie into town sewer and the town meets the requirement of the reduction, or you might be forced to upgrade your septic
At a
system.
significant amount of money.
At a what?
At a significant amount of money, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
And Wareham
Every
doesn't
day.
even,
It's high.
yeah, we don't even have the capacity to increase, the number of houses onto the sewage system right now, so.
Well, that's why the gazillions of dollars are going into the system. You get, but you're rebuilding a 1 or 2 pumping stations, I believe, also?
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done,
Yeah.
but.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Sounds good. Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.